Pathfinder 2e, a system that is both easy to learn and hard to grasp. Commonly known in the TTRPG community for its tight math, flexible customization, and how daunting the game is. Or is it? I let my players have free reign as I gave them some small pointers and sent them to Pathfinder 2nd edition. This was universally known as a grave mistake. Slowly, they came back with their characters. We had a desert elf fighter, pretty solid, gladiator background, all good, checks out. The next one was a kitsune rogue, also solid, no problem. We got a catfolk wizard, everything good, I explained how spells work and this is not a cheat, works out perfectly fine. Then we arrived to the last player. She sends me her sheet, I look at it. My blood freezes cold. It went like this.
Hey Tofu, is this okay? Can I play this?
Why are you the way that you are?
So they drafted up their characters, imported them to Foundry, and made their way from the town of Otari to Otari Fishery for some heroic acts and money. Three action system. This part was perhaps the easiest to grasp. Telling someone that they have 3 actions to do anything makes it so much simpler than dividing into movement, action or bonus action. This was simple, precise, and it was easy to understand for some rat murdering. GMs of the future, make sure that you read this part clearly. Rats are attacking each PC. Don't gang on one PC with all 4 of them, that is not going to be a fun time for that player. Exploration mode. Ease them into it and start slowly by saying that you can roll for staff, for initiative, or say that you can pull up your shield while you're moving up ahead in dungeon. And don't go full on textbook mode, like here is all the exploration modes you can do, which there are not many of, but still, do not try and info dump them. This can come up later and they will understand the basics at that point and it will come in more handy. The spider fight. Now this was scary. All it took from the spider's part was one misplaced critical strike against one of the players, and it would have been a very bad situation for that player. Thankfully, the rogue came up first and managed to critical strike immediately, killing the spider in 1 shot, 1 kill, thanks to sneak attack. After dealing with the spider, it was time to create some bone powder. Pro tip, slightly nudge your players to get more than 1 weapon. It is fine if they don't, they can just use their fist or their regular weapon, it might take a bit longer. But be mindful that the fist has the non-lethal trait against undead that are dead, but not dead. It gets confusing. After getting Ghostra's bathwater, murdering some kobolds, and finding Bilbo's +1 stink, it was time for the puzzle. Man, I don't know if it's only me or anyone else, but this is the second time I ran this beginner box, and it was the second time I messed up the wording. The only criticism I have for this Foundry module is that I wish we had a scene with the scale and gold coins and a dummy's guide to dumb DMs trying to explain 2nd grade math. Thankfully, they eventually managed to solve it after I had to backtrack at least twice. They managed to spy out the kobolds, activated the trap, and then proceeded, as every adventure does, stepping into the own trap they have activated. This was the end of level 1 of the beginner's box. All of my players had tons of fun and they were eager to return to play a week later. Unbeknownst to them, however, level 2 is where the game actually started to throw challenging encounters at them. It was time to make things spicier. Level 2 is nasty, very nasty, but it's not impossible. Make sure to remind your players that they should go into every fight with max HP. Why? Because it was time to introduce them what it feels to fear. The Cinder Rat, this scrawny fire elemental that spews gas like a cow that just ate a handful of grass. This guy is the first real boss. Kobold Trapmaster doesn't even get close to it. Now listen here. One of my players had a very bright idea why they were fighting the Cinder Rat. He wanted to use Gozra's bathwater and pour it into the rat because it was on, well, fire. There is nothing in the game that tells you this would be beneficial. However, it did make sense. The rat was literally on fire. So he succeeded, and I took away one of the rat's features, the fetid fumes. Always, always, always respect player ingenuity. Just because the game says you can't, doesn't mean you shouldn't. The rest of the fight was easier, although the wooden puppet player really didn't like catching on fire. I wonder why. They decided not to check out the Smiley Discord admin cave and went back to the main path, disabling the squirt machine and opening the door on a bunch of chilling kobolds. Here is where our story took a turn. The players had no problem dealing with the kobolds, they were very easy to kill. However, in the beginner box it states that the last creature will try to beg for its life. I was so successful in creating this little troublemaker that the players fell in love with Lurie, the kobold. And so he was born, a walking guide, a helping hand, and a sacrifice to make my players understand what it feels like to lose a beloved NPC. After Lurie showed them a shortcut, they raided the Discord admin headquarters and went on to kill the kobold boss afterwards, which took really nothing. My players were pretty sus at this point. Was this it? This was the big boss fight they were waiting for? No, the true menace was laying in the grotto, waiting for them to enter, to feast upon the bones of green adventurers. I made them level up first though, and mandatorily told them to take a long rest just in case. See, I'm not that evil. It was time for the dragon fight. I wanted to make them sweat and fear. Each attack had to feel like it was going to decide the outcome of the battle. All the things that they have learned so far and got suddenly became clear for them. They had to utilize teamwork in order to defeat this boss. The final battle, the ultimate challenge, was here. After a brief encounter, the boss downed the fighter, and it was time to enact my evil plan. Lurie, the kobold, tried to take the fighter's smoking sword and stood up against the evil dragon. For once in his life, he would not take orders from anyone else and do what he believed was right. For his newfound friends, for the promised fishes, he swung and missed. Silence fell over the battlefield, and many players became furious. The dragon just killed Lurie, their friend. It wasn't just a game anymore. It was a personal vendetta. The wizard tricked the wand and healed the fighter back up, and the party rekindled with vengeance, put an end to the dragon, pinning him down with the stalactite striking through the creature's flesh. It was over. When this journey began, I had 4 players who were new to the game and role-playing in general. By the end of it, all of them were yearning for more, happy with the module and the experience it provided. Not only that, they were no longer mere players. They were the followers of Lurie, an adventuring group ready to delve deeper into Gauntlet, into the Abomination Vaults. Takeaway from this rant, Pathfinder 2e is anything but hard. It has a lot of options, which can create a bit of a decision paralysis, but once you understand the easy-to-grasp fundamentals and maths, it's a walk in the park. If my green players manage to play through the beginner box, which by any means is not easy, you too can do it. You too can play this wonderful game. Don't let anyone gatekeep you telling you that this game is only for gamers who like strict math, some grog nerds who like battle simulations. It's not true. Sure, it's more tactical, it's more balanced than similar systems. But I think the beauty of Pathfinder 2e lies in player freedom. In the fact that everyone can make something mechanically truly unique, and no two players sharing the same class are the same. Let your players enjoy this freedom, because one day they're gonna come up to you and tell you the same thing one of my players did. Thank you for introducing me to this game. You relate my passion for TTRPGs. It doesn't matter what game we are playing, as long as we keep on rolling dice and having fun, that's all that matters.